It's time to play some stuff. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Guild Wars 2 here on Play Some Stuff. This game is the Skyrim of 2012 for me. This is the big release that I look forward to all year. It launched right on time. Actually, it launched a couple hours early. The Head Start period began at 12 midnight Eastern instead of 12 midnight Pacific. So this game is definitely the first third-generation MMO. If you've been following the development of online RPGs.
I need your help.
Shut up. And I did try to do some recordings of this during the beta periods, but one big thing that... Oh, there's an event nearby. As you can tell already, this game, if you do it live, Let's Play style, like what I'm doing here, expect your commentary to be nothing short of scatterbrained. Because this world is so dynamic. Things are always happening. Especially when you're outside of towns and outposts. I mean, this is a game where, you know, you could think you found a safe place to alt-tab out to Facebook or something like that, and check your Facebook status updates, something like that, come back, your character's dead. Some centaurs or something ambushed the heck out of them. So we're wandering around this cornfield. We're in a mid-level area. I'm getting close to level 40 on my main, this Guardian, Jason Goodmain, a name that I've been using all the way back to the original Neverwinter Nights. Always some kind of militant cleric-type paladin-type character, so in this game that, of course, would be the Guardian. Now, the Guardian is a profession. I try not to say character class, use WoW terminology here. But the Guardian is a profession that... It's the best way to describe it if you've played the original Guild Wars is Revenge of the Whammos. Whammos meaning, of course, warrior monks. And warrior monks being one of the first types of builds people tried to make. Like, hey, look, I'm a fighter with heals. Well, they actually codified some of that into what you get with the Guardian. So your main group utility type skills that you have in the upper left of your bar are virtues. They give you passive buffs. If you activate them, they give everybody around you an active buff, and you lose the passive buff for a specific amount of time. So one of them burns your foes. Basically, Guardians burn stuff. Every couple attacks, they like holy fire whoever they're fighting. They don't do bleeding or poison or anything. That's more like warriors and rangers and stuff. But they do burning every 5th attack. There's also regenerating health, so it's mending! Yay, it's mending! And of course, there's a little bit of a heal type thing if you activate it when you're around friends and stuff like that. Virtue of Courage gives you Aegis, which in this game is a magic way of blocking the attack. It's also why when you draw a weapon as a Guardian, you got that noise, and you got this little shield thing here, even if you have a two-handed weapon. Looks a little stupid, but it's good to know, it's good to know that when you have the buff. But, I can activate that, and it gives everybody Aegis, and I don't get it back until the thing comes off cooldown. So, one thing about this game is that it gets away from probably the biggest thing this game has going for it is the Guild Wars series up to this point has been anti-MMOs. Whatever the dominant MMO is at the time, the Guild Wars game is a response to it. The original Guild Wars was a response to EverQuest, and the design of the game just screamed somebody frustrated with a first-generation MMO and all the grinding and having to party up for everything and stuff like that. The game was totally a response to that. This game, of course, is the anti-WoW. So much of this game screams, we're trying to fix things that are wrong with second-generation MMOs like World of Warcraft. And so I'm going to try not to be too scatterbrained in my commentary, but it's very hard to do real coherent commentary in a game like this, because stuff is just always happening when you're not hanging out in a cornfield like I am. Guardians can use a mixture of martial and magic weapons, so if I want to go ranged, I got my little smiting wand here. Yeah, remember all those bad warrior monks that would run around with smiting wands in the original Guild Wars? Well, it's been formalized here. Hey, look, a fight. Let's go join in. That gives us a skill challenge, which gives us a skill point that we can use to purchase slot skills. There's one category for your self-heals. Everybody heals in this game. There are no dedicated healers, which is good. And doesn't mean you can't play as a heal-ish type character. But there are dedicated healing skills, and usually if you go to your traits, of course with the Guardian you have these kinds of religious-ish names like Zeal and Valor, Honor, or not religious, but knightly type things. Zeal, Valor, Honor, etc. The honor path over here gives you increased vitality, which increases your health, and then plus healing for all your special healing effects. A lot of your, like, there's attacks that, if you fight with a mace and a shield, you'll have attacks that smash open a circle on the ground. Is this really necessary? What are these people even fighting anything?
Fury rising!
Uh-oh, the chickens are angry. I don't know if this is some kind of reference to Zelda or not. Oh, it's an event. Didn't I tell you this game had all kinds of stuff happening?
Just stand there. Go get them. Shake it off.
Do these chickens do any damage? We're not hardly doing any damage to them. Alright. How do we get the farm animals back in the pen? Yeah, see? I was in a relatively quiet part of the town, and suddenly this fight breaks out. Now, I can't talk about anything because everybody's just... Yeah. See, I thought those elementalists over there were just spamming their AE abilities. A lot of, now we gotta get the farm animals to go home. I thought those elemental... Okay. I don't feel like whipping cows around, but... See, I thought I was in a quiet part of the town, but instead...
Not to interrupt you, but I could use some help. Seriously. Prepare for adventure.
No. Please, I want to do something more significant than herd farm animals back into their pens. Didn't I tell you this game? See, I was in what I thought was going to be a quiet section of town. Then all of a sudden, even out in the farm fields, stuff started happening. Anyways, this section's called the Fields of Ruin. For those of you that know, well, let's do that. Now that ding thing that just did was his heart appearing up in the corner. Now this is the closest thing that this game has to generic MMO quests where you kill 10 boars, collect 10 apples, etc. You only do these once though. And basically these heart quests are for like renown and reputation and stuff. You help out in an area. Like in this case, there's the humans in the Char from Guild Wars that were eternally at war with one another, have struck an uneasy peace treaty. But there are factions among the humans in the Char that want to keep the war going, even though the war has officially been ended. So this place, and here's Tyria.
I agree with the separatists. No treaty, never.
Shut up. Okay, that's it. Click. This is the only quiet place in the game because it's technically only part of the game if you played through the original Guild Wars. But we're just going to go to the ruins of the Eye of the North. It's probably the only way I'm going to be able to talk about any kind of backstory to this game relative to the Guild Wars series. Yeah, by the way, something I can't stand about this game, no first-person view. What were they thinking? They put in all these nice views and graphics and stuff like that, and, you know, They put in all these nice views and all these nice graphics, and no first-person view. So if I want to look up at something on the ceiling, I gotta have my character take up 2/3 of the screen. Anyways, so this is the only quiet place I know of in the game. It's the tie-in to the original Guild Wars. Obviously, this used to be the Hall of Monuments. Guild Wars 2 takes place about 250 years after the original game, which is why there's some steampunk stuff here and there. You'll see people with pistols and guns in addition to the classic armor and medieval type stuff. And of course, the Hall of Monuments has seen better days. Now there's a grown-in swamp pond, and there's ghosts of the NPCs that were here in the original Guild Wars game. Here's the scrying pool, which is now like a pond with stuff growing in it. Yeah, you used to stand here back in the original game. Remember those days? You'd gaze deep into the water, blah blah blah. It used to show you the cinematics from the original. Used to show you the cinematics from the original game. Yeah. Anyways, so here's Tyria. This game takes place in roughly the same area as the original Guild Wars. We might see more of it if expansion packs come out. It's 250 years later. To make it more MMO-ish and more MMO-friendly, the human kingdom of Ascalon is long gone. The Char now control all of it yet again. Then there's Kryta's where the humans are this time around. And everybody kind of carves up the world among themselves. Like, I think the Asura and the Sylvari are down along this part with the Tarnished Coast. Lion's Arch, even Lion's Arch has changed. It's now a pirate city, a free city, kind of like a coming together place for all the races. So it was founded. The new Lion's Arch was founded after the original was flooded out by. This new city was founded by pirates, and so if we go there, we'll see like a lot of like ships that make up all the buildings made of ships pieced together and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's also your PvP gateway if you want to do your PvP. A lot of the gateway to the mists and stuff, you can go there from anywhere in the game, but the official gateway to the mists is out of Lion's Arch because it's the neutral city. And of course you have the Norn, which live in the Shiver Peaks, and then you got other places as well, Crystal Deserts in here and things like that. So that's basically what's happened at Tyria. The Maguma jungle, for whatever reason, is dried up, and it's now the Maguma wastes. And I haven't really gone too far in this game. There's the Ring of Fire Island chain where the original Guild Wars ended. Ruins of Ur, the old kingdom of Ur that was sunk to the bottom of the ocean, is now back above water, which is why Lion's Arch got flooded out. So, yeah, things have changed quite a bit. And now that there's more playable races in this game, they had to, of course, set it up so that they could have stories for all of them. So the humans are all from Kryta now, except for the people in the settlement of Ebonhawk, which is where I was. They're the remains of the Ebon Vanguard, which, if all the fighting and stuff has died down in the streets by then, I'd like to go see. There's supposedly gravestones of prominent characters from Guild Wars in that area, like Gwen, the little girl in the original pre-Searing Ascalon who became one of the fighters in Eye of the North. And here are the ghosts of characters that used to be in Eye of the North back in the original game. Any skills I once taught pale in comparison to the power you wield, hero. History will add your name to the long list of heroes who have left their mark on Tyria. And of course, she used to sell runes. Things have changed so much, though. It's true, though, from a lore perspective. I mean, this guy at level 37 has 4,000 hit points. Whereas back in the original Guild Wars, you were a tank if you had more than 400, or more than 500. Anyways, this is an instance, a little instance you get, and you can come here and transmogrify your armor. If you've beaten elements of the original Guild Wars, you could get transmogrification sets here, which is why my armor looks like the fighter dude from the original CD cover of the original Guild Wars back in 2005. So I've been able to run around in plate mail instead of being yet another person running around in worn-out chainmail or something like that. Hey, Zunlai chests. I haven't seen these yet. This vault has been sealed with Zunlai magic. An inscription on the lid reads, "Talk to a Zunlai agent to activate your storage account today." So, of course, there are no more Zunlai agents. You get a bank now. So this is kind of a retro throwback to the original game, because this is where the Zunlai agents would be. And of course, since my character is technically a descendant of my original warrior monk from back then, even though he's wearing the same kind of bluish plate armor, No sunlight. Agents. They're no longer needed.
May you find the path home.
Ages ago, the Ebon Vanguard held this bastion of hope and joined forces with a special hero to prevent the destruction of us all. Yep, and these are the ruins of the Eye of the North. Let's get back to some current content here. Exit to Fields of Ruin. Now, Fields of Ruin is basically the zone that I'm doing here, and if the streets have quieted down, I'd like to at least go see that cemetery, see who's buried there. If the folks doing that farm event have penned the animals back up. Yeah. So, this game, as you can tell, brings the role-playing back into RPGs. Even if you're not playing with anybody else, you can wander around the world, do things, and you can walk into events and stuff and help out. So let's see.
Listen to me! My uncles died in the sieges! Queen Jenna can choke on that treaty!
Yeah, this place has a lot of uprising type action. Queen Jenna is the Queen of Kryta, and the treaty that, what's-her-name, that just hollered it in the streets was yelling about is the peace treaty between the humans and the Chaws. Okay, someone just used a speed skill to give me a little speed boost. Let's go check that cemetery out. Looks like things have quieted down. That's where that skill challenge was. I think the skill challenge is right on the gravestone of Gwen, actually. One of her descendants, Logan Thackeray, is one of the main characters in the human campaign. Alright, let's see what's going on. There's quite a few things to collect in every zone. Like these undiscovered vista things. Basically, if you jump up to the roofs of certain buildings and stuff like that, you can have like a cinematic vista. Take a look at a cinematic... the camera will pan around and show you the scenery. It looks really nice. It's kind of a neat little collectible. And the ultimate goal in these zones is eventually... Great, I'm still fighting. The ultimate goal in these zones is eventually to get to 100% complete. Fallen Angel Gretel skill challenge.
We must all do our part.
So they pretty much ruined that for me. Okay, so this is the cornfield. This isn't the cemetery. Where is that Defender's Cemetery type thing? Oh, that's it right there. So when we started the video, I did the wrong skill challenge. Let's see if we can get away from the angry chickens. Let's see if we can get away from the angry chickens here. Let me swap some of these skills around. Change my signet for reduced damage to one for improved healing, and let's use the retreat skill to save some time.
Retreat!
Yeah, that's one thing I don't like about this game. No mounts as of yet. So everybody that has any kind of speed skill, like retreat for guardians, will probably be spamming it to run from place to place faster. Okay, is this the cemetery? What's this? Joanna? Can we get at this? Must be it. Looks all run down and stuff. Ebonhawk, of course, is the last. Ebonhawk, of course. Yep, here it is. Defender's Field. Oh, come on! Have some respect for the heroes of Tyria. Char just jumps down from the roof. Well, this is an MMO, so... Who is this? Orwin Radcliffe. Winter's Day fades now that you're gone. No one makes eggnog quite as strong. I think these are all characters from the original Guild Wars. I'm looking for once a master with zealots of Shiver Peak. He died serving his country with honor. Your costumes kept faction and your jokes kept us in stitches. These Blount Bricken, born in Cantho with the heart of an Ascalon. What's this big one? Lucy Macca, Ray of Sunshine, or Waltz. I don't even know half of these characters. If this idiot could stop running and jumping everywhere. Death of somebody. Maybe some of the bigger stones correspond to larger characters. I know somewhere in here is Gwen's final resting place. Yep. Memorial plaque. What's this? To Captain Langmar, who led us into the battle, and Captain Gwen Thackeray, who led us to this home, we shall never forget you, because this city was founded by the Ebon Vanguard. A single memorial marks the final resting place of the Ascalonian hero and Ebon Vanguard commander Gwen Thackeray, loving wife Lieutenant Kieran Thackeray, and great-grandmother of Captain Logan Thackeray. This is one of the things I don't like about this game. Some of these skill challenges, you just get there and you click on it like this. Commune with this place of power. I mean, I think all skill challenges should be a challenge. Alright, so I got myself another skill point from that. So we've done a little bit of combat, a little bit of running around, and we've looked at some of the ties back to the original game. Oh, what's this grave with all the nice little stones around it? Professor Yackington? Okay. It's interesting the kinds of little details they put in this game. There's another graveyard outside Divinity's Reach, the human capital, but I don't recognize any of these other names. Keep laughing, I'll have a harder time shooting you. Never get between a bear and his honey. Okay, that's enough. What can I say? There's definitely stuff to do in this game. Hey, look, a hawk. I got an achievement once for hitting something for hitting a critter for 15 grand in damage. So, alright, and now it's nighttime, of course. I've wasted an in-game day running around doing sightseeing in this darn city. So let's go out and let's find something to do. Not like it's hard to do in this game, because as you can see, stuff pops up all over the place. Help Foreman Boslow care for Blackwing excavation. Motivate workers and remove dangers from the work site. Nah, let's go back to the city. Matter of fact, let's stop the video until we're back in that city and do that local quest. So as you can imagine, there are some ex-World of Warcraft players that probably are showing up here, and the game doesn't require two names for your character anymore, but it's pretty interesting. You can sort of tell who the WoW players are by who runs around with one-word names. And then, of course, the original Guild Wars, you can have multiple words in your name, so you can have surnames and stuff like that. Alright, so if no other random events break out here at nighttime in this city, heart quests are basically quests you do once. They're for reputation and gaining, some renown among the folks in the various places. Once you finish...
Queen Jenna never suffered through our war. The Separatists are right. No treaty. Not now, not ever.
Hello.
Oh, you just talk to him like that? I thought I was going to have to fight him because he was basically committing treason by saying those things. So yeah, this city was founded by the Ebon Vanguard. Now, about these heart quests. You go through them once, and that's it. Once you finish them, a rep vendor in the area unlocks. So if we go to our map, this is where the rep vendor is for help the people of Ebonhawk. Once we're done with this quest, then this vendor will have some reputation items for us that we can purchase with karma points, which these little purple triangle things right here. Basically an alternative to using gold to buy everything. There are also scouts that give you a backstory into what to do in the various areas of the game in case you're ever lost.
Though the hope of a treaty has helped us expand from our walls, we still have issues within. Throughout Ebonhawk's markets and residential areas, human separatists pander their cause, sowing dissension and destruction. We of the Ebon Vanguard have to be vigilant to keep our training and supplies up to these challenges. Even out in the Blackwing excavation, the miners struggled to adjust in these changing times.
So probably one of the things I like about this game is there's always stuff to do. And if it looks like there's nothing to do, stick around and something will happen. Kind of like what happened to me out in that farm field. I thought I was going to be able to talk about a basic overview of this game before really getting into some gameplay, and then suddenly the farm animals went nuts. So here's the Asura Gate. This takes us to Divinity's Reach, which is the human capital. And I just walked into it by accident. Darn it, they got to improve the hitboxes on those things, because as you can see, I didn't even walk through it. I just came within like a foot of it, and I guess the game assumed I wanted to go through it. So, let's get back to that area and do some questing there. Actually, while I'm over here in Divinity's Reach, quite by accident, let's go take a look at this thing, because this thing deserves an honorable mention. This is Uzolan's Mechanical Orchestra. Nice little one-man band type thing. If you play a human character and you start your personal story with my greatest regret is I never got to perform in the circus when I was a kid, you'll eventually wind up doing some quests in this part of the city. Just look at this thing.
If it weren't for this sponsorship.
Just little random things like this are pretty cool. Divinity's Reach is one heck of a city, that's for sure. I don't think I've ever seen a city in an MMO convey this sense of being a big city. Like, if you go to, like, Stormwind in World of Warcraft, yeah, it's supposed to be a big city, it's supposed to be the human capital, but it just feels small because you just don't have this kind of, scenery. Buildings don't go up as high and things like that. There isn't the sense of grandness like what we've got here. Plus, with the lack of player housing and stuff like that, only a few buildings actually enterable to begin with, you don't really get the impression that lots of people live there. And a lot of these RPG cities are like that. You might be able to go into like 2 buildings or something, and you don't really see how people could possibly, so many people could live in that city. So here's a fountain and everything like that, and here, big houses galore. Yeah, sure, we can only go in a small fraction of them, but the sense of scale in Divinity's Reach is astounding. It is huge. I mean, look at this. Look at this huge city.
Hey, I'm not the one who lost at Polymont. Get over it.
And there's stuff happening, even if a lot of the NPCs are generic, like Assistant and Citizen and stuff like that. Let's go back to Ebonhawk and get back to the quests over there. Alright, so where were we? So we're doing this heart quest, tear down separatist propaganda, talk down sympathizers, and knock on doors to find potential separatist hideouts. Because the separatists are a group of humans that rebelled against the Ebon Vanguard and don't want there to be a peace treaty between the humans and the Char. Now, as far as graphics of this game goes, yeah, this game, it's yet another game that goes for artsy type awards for trying to use the game's art style to hide the fact that the graphics aren't that good. The game is probably going to win some awards for efficient graphics, but it's not a Skyrim. The art style expressed by the developers earlier in this game was that they were going for kind of like an impressionist painting look. And they definitely nailed that with the way everything looks. But I wonder if, much like the high amounts of light blooms effects in certain Wii games, Mario Kart Wii, they might be trying to hide the fact that this game only shipped with DirectX 9 support. The latest version of DirectX is DirectX 11. The graphics in this game aren't too much of an improvement over the original Guild Wars, but the good news is that for all of us with older computers or somewhat dated machines, like my machine was a good machine as of 2010, though I've upgraded a few things here and there, I'm still running a Phenom 1090T processor, which was good back in those days. Suspicious door. Hey, look! You will die for your treason, separatist. Die by the sword. So even people with somewhat older systems will run this. It's not going to be like Final Fantasy XIV, which choked computers all over the place when it first launched. I guess the big thing with this game is all the improvements to the mechanics and things making more sense. It really kind of brings back the roleplay element of role-playing games that's been missing in the MMO world for a long time. A lot of the metagaming that used to be done, that's a different quest. A lot of the metagaming you used to have in these kinds of games has been dealt with. So you can just, if you want to roleplay as a goody two-shoe, you can be a goody two-shoe. Is any of that readable? No, some other type of characters. Or maybe folks overseas in Asia can read it. I don't know. It looks kind of Chinese or Japanese or something. Probably closer to Japanese than Chinese calligraphy. But I'm like I actually know anything about those kinds of alphabets. So, for all I know, this could be a set of characters made up for the game, kind of like the Daedric characters in Elder Scrolls Morrowind or something. Suspicious door. So,
That feels good.
yay, a thief showed up to go all Clint Eastwood on him like that. Yeah, thieves get pistols in this game. It's not like rogues that dagger you to death or anything like that. I know. I actually have an engineer that runs around with pistols or a rifle. So as you can tell, this is very much like kill 10 boars type quest, but the difference is it makes sense and it happens real time in the game world. I don't have to walk up to somebody with something floating over their head, and then the mobs spawn, and then we go do our thing, and then it's over with afterwards. Finished. Heart quests by far are the most boring quests in the game. They resemble traditional MMO quests the most. But you only do them once, as opposed to dynamic events, which could spring up at any moment, as we saw with the farm animals. So now that I've finished that heart quest, first I get a letter in my in-game mail, which gives me the quest reward, which is a little bit of silver.
You need assistance.
And then we get rep vendors, like this fallen angel Michaela over here.
Do our part.
So if I get more karma points, I can get some. I think these are accessories. Broken flute. These are all obviously. Obviously, these are references to the original Guild Wars. The broken flute would be something like, yeah, Gwen used to play the flute when she was a little kid, and the broken flute was something you could find after the searing in Guild Wars 1. Thackeray family replica ring, and these are accessories that give you bonuses to your stats and skills. We'll probably have to talk about the numbers in here, the numbers in this game later on. And of course, if you want, you can tear down propaganda and do some of the heart quest stuff on your own afterwards. But some of these quests actually have a little bit, I guess, phasing or something, where some of the stuff disappears. Like centaur traps that you in one of the heart quests in Queensdale, the human starting area. I think they disappear after you complete the renown quest. So the most boring quests are the heart quests. They're most like what you have in, hey, another...
Listen to me! My uncles died in the sieges! Queen Jenna can choke on that treaty!
Shut up. The most boring quests in this game you only do once. Dynamic events can happen all over the place, and those range from like escort quests to giant outdoor bosses. Matter of fact, I think the next video that I do is going to be the Shadow Behemoth in Queensdale. If I have to hang around in that area and wait for the darn thing to spawn, I will. But the swamp monster was one of the most fun things that I did in the beta. Okay, where's the organ coming from? There's some kind of chapel nearby or something? Or am I... Or is it because I'm close to the... Nope, the graveyard's over there. Didn't I tell you any comments? If you do live commentary on this game, warning to any Let's Players or anything like that, you do any live commentary on this game, it's going to be scatterbrained. Because of all... Or it's going to sound scatterbrained because... Are people still fighting those angry chickens? That's got to be a Zelda reference where... you attack chickens too much, you get swarmed by a bunch of super chickens. Alright, enough of the angry chickens, enough with the sheer randomness of this game for now. There will be more videos on this, obviously, but I think we'd better knock it off with this one right now before we have like an hour-long special of me playing Guild Wars 2. So, this is Play Some Stuff. I'm MultimediaJay. Till next time, game on.